Ladies and gentlemen, I literally just made $13,000 on accident, completely on accident. So let me explain. If you guys don't know what I do, I buy and sell land. I'm a land flipper. I'm co-owner of MMC Land. This is a little bit of a funny story because I'm not trying to exaggerate. I literally made this money on accident, and this was the easiest deal I've ever done. And I literally had no intention of doing this deal. It just fell on my lap. So guys, essentially how this all came to fruition was I had just bought a very beautiful lakefront property. I'll plop a picture up on the screen right now. And essentially it was a pretty expensive property for how much we were going to sell it for. We were kind of looking from somewhere between 50 and 70,000. And we thought, since it's so expensive, it's probably going to sit on market for a while. And in this community, there's about 4 lakes in the area, and there's a lot of lakefront properties that are built on, and obviously it's going to be a high demand property because it's on the lake. It's one of the only properties or pieces of land, should I say, that isn't currently built on. So I figured someone might actually want it for their family or friends. And so I had kind of thought of an idea, and this is something that I've never done before. But we essentially cold called all of the neighbors in the community. And so there's like 500 homes. And so I just wanted to get some super quick leads. We thought we'd give it a try. I've never done it before. And on top of that, when we had gone and actually placed our for sale sign, it's kind of in a more hidden area in the subdivision. So a lot of the community would probably have a really hard time seeing our for sale sign or even know it's available. Like I said, it was the first time I've really ever tried doing this, cold calling neighbors to sell something. But it kind of went surprisingly well. A lot of people were kind of interested in a lakefront property, and there wasn't really any on the MLS. So a lot of people actually went and checked it out in person. Long story short, we didn't end up selling to one of the neighbors. A lot of people just ended up not wanting it for just whatever the reason was. But something very awesome came of this, and this is kind of how we stumbled into making this money on accident. So to start, we got a lot of people saying that they were actually moving from the community. And so a lot of these people that would tell me that they're moving, they were living in houses, right? Because they lived there full time. But there was a couple people who said no, that they were just selling in the area, and I always asked them what they were selling, like if it was land or a house. Pretty much everyone said a house, but there was one guy in particular that I had called, and I told him, I basically ran my script. I'm like, hey, I'm a land investor. I have a very beautiful lakefront property. There's not any on market on this specific lake, so I just wanted to get word out to all the neighbors, see if anyone would be interested. And we also offer seller financing to make things very affordable. And he had told me that he actually doesn't want it because he's selling land himself. Like, would I want it? And I'm like, where is it located, address, parcel ID, whatever kind of information I needed, and how much did he want? He basically ended up telling me that he had 0.36 acres of land, and it already has an old mobile home on it with a septic tank. He wasn't sure if the septic tank worked, but it was there nonetheless. And at this point in my head, I'm like, wow, this seems like a steal. I didn't tell him right away that I wanted to buy it. I never tell them that on the first call. I like to at least tell them I'm going to do my due diligence, especially because if I sound super excited and tell him I want to buy it right away, he might change his mind and realize that he could probably get way more for the property. But that's essentially what happened. I knew right away this was going to be a good deal. So I immediately called my partner, Francis. I told him what was going on. And he right away, too, was like, this seems like a good deal. We just need to see what the mobile home looks like. And pretty much we had immediately just gathered a list of neighbors, called them up, see if anyone knew anything about the property, see if anyone could go take some pictures for us. And so it was like the second lady that I called. She was super helpful. She knew exactly what property I was talking about, and she went over and got some pictures for us. I'm going to put them up on the screen. She only got a couple for us, and she didn't really go into the mobile home or anything. She said it wasn't really in the best condition. And that's just the one thing we were kind of nervous about. As you can see, it's pretty much cleared all around the mobile home, and there's kind of a cool fence right there, which adds some value, right? It being cleared and the cool fence. But we didn't know people would like this mobile home, and so we ended up just getting the property under contract, like we were gonna buy it, and we got it off to the title company. And we figured the one way to test this would be to do like a fake listing on Facebook. And essentially with this fake listing, we're really just trying to see what we need to price the property at if people were interested in the mobile home, if they weren't, because we're really only getting the property for about $3,000. So keep in mind, we're giving the seller $2,000 like he requested, because he's just paying taxes on it. He doesn't use it, he just wants to get rid of it. And we are paying about $1,000 in closing costs. I think our exact number was like $1,100 in closing costs, and I'll plop that up on the screen as well to show you guys exactly what the numbers look like throughout the double close. But essentially what happened was, we spent about $3,100, and so we're just trying to figure out how much we're gonna make. Like at first I was like, maybe we'll just list it at $8,000, start there. The mobile home might decrease in value because it doesn't look like it's in good condition. Francis says, no, let's start it high at 13. So I'm like, okay, we'll put it at 13.7 and see what people say. Long story short, guys, if you've watched any of my other videos, I use this a lot, but I've gotten the most texts I've ever gotten on a property. I got so much interest on it. It was insane. And within the first 2 hours, because I got like 40 texts, I went and raised the price to $16,000 almost immediately. A lot of people texted me back and they were mad, but I just told them like, hey, like I'm getting too many texts, I have to raise my price. And it is what it is. A lot of people understood. And so long story short, I found a buyer in 4 days because I just had that much interest. I had people going out every day because they wanted to see it in person. And honestly, if I didn't get a buyer that fast, I probably would have raised the price to $18,000 just because I was still getting so much demand. Not 20 texts an hour, but probably like 35 texts a day. And on Facebook Marketplace, that is a lot, still. And so, guys, and I'll put up a picture on the screen of how many views I got just in a couple days before I had sold it. But yeah, it was ridiculous. So we learned that obviously people love old mobile homes that can be seen as fixer-uppers. So that's something that, we just know for the future. But essentially, we found a buyer so fast that we double closed on the property. But essentially, guys, this is how a double close works. So you have A, which is the seller. You guys have B, which is the middleman in the transaction. And you guys have C, which is the seller. So essentially, it's not a wholesale because title does go into our name, technically, even if it's for just a couple minutes. But that's a very quick demonstration on how a double close works. So essentially, the title went into our name when we had gone and paid the $3,100. So our buyer on our end of the double close ended up giving us that $16,000 that we were asking for, and we ended up coming out with I think it was like $12,900 profit, technically. But so pretty much $13,000, and that's pretty much how we made $13,000 on accident. It was like the fastest selling property we've ever had, and it pretty much just fell into our lap on accident. I wasn't trying to cold call to buy his property. He just told me that he had one he wanted to sell. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And it goes to show that, if you just keep calling a bunch of people, eventually stuff is just going to fall into your lap that, is just extremely profitable. If you guys like the video, comment any questions that you might have about land flipping or anything. You can also DM us on Instagram. We answer every single DM, so feel free to do that as well. And lastly, guys, make sure you subscribe. I've been your host, Levi, and I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day, and peace out.